Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another episode of BS for Build. We're here right now working on the Transaxle. Where is that thing? Right there. We are going to be installing some drop gears in that thing today. Then we'll get the engine and trans back in the car and test out our fuel system fixes and all sorts of fun stuff. Stay tuned. Alright, so to install these drop gears, we got to start tearing down the transaxle. We're going to start kind of at the back here, start pulling stuff off, and then once we get to about here, it should give us a visual on what we're trying to work with. I think once we get in there, then we're going to need to do some clearancing and some other fun stuff. So this is risky for us. That's a $10,000 transaxle right there. We don't normally just start blindly cracking these things open and going after them, but you know, it's the spirit of the holiday. I don't know. We're just doing it. Let's go. Alright, so this is our storage spot for all of our like important takeoff stuff. So this is our reverse gear that we've taken off. This is, God only knows what that is, a bunch of stuff over here. The whole manual selector over here, and we're into it now. So if you see one of these and it's an E gear, it has a totally different thing up here that plugs into here, and then a computer helps do this stuff back and forth and all that good stuff. This guy aligns like that, and then our stuff slots right into there. So we've got all this stuff out of the back. We got this out. So now the next job is to take the midsection out of this. So we're gonna be taking all these bolts off here and there and slide it out. This is nerve-wracking. But it's fun. High stakes game of puzzles. All right, well, we kind of got through the like hold your breath and hope you don't break everything part, and well, everything is coming apart as we've expected, which is a really good sign. So this is all the gearing that really gets us, you know, through the shifting of first, second, third gear. Reverse gear is what we took off earlier. You know, there's fourth, fifth, and sixth too, but who cares about those? Anyways, so the drop gears are what we're getting after, and there was a gear that was right in here. That's came out, and that's right there. And then this is the drop gear version. So this is the one that we bought from HCF. So you can see the difference in size, and that's what's going to get us our better ratios that we need. And then this is the counterpart, and it actually is going to live right there. So Oscar and I have been thinking about strategies. Now, what we were told before we did this is that we need to clearance part of our transaxle here, make some room, because this guy is going to be bigger than that one. When we make this one smaller, that one's got to be bigger, so they'll still be able to, you know, interact with each other. So we're thinking it's going to be maybe a little off of here and then a little bit off of here. So what we're going to do is go ahead and crack that baby open and start getting our drop gear installed onto there so we can double check where we need to clearance, and then we'll make our lines and start making a little bit of room. We set up a little table here and installed our drop gear on the whole gear set. So this is the HCF aftermarket drop gear right here. And then we brought it over to here and kind of test fit it in here so we could make a line as far as how much we need to cut off. This bag is just in here as we're gonna use it as a blocker. Anyways, so this line right here, I need to come like about 1 millimeter under that line and cut all the way back through here and take this chunk off. So that section of this part needs to come off. Nothing else really needs to get cut out that we know of right now. That was the only thing that we could see that it was touching. So that's pretty cool. So we need to make sure that this is all really nicely protected, that as I'm cutting through this aluminum, that aluminum shavings aren't getting all, you know, thrown into here everywhere. That would be a total nightmare. So I've got some really good quality tape and some paper and some other things, and I'm basically going to be masking off this whole area so I can cut in here safely and not gunk up the whole transmission. we're all taped off. Time to make the cut. Okay, the semi-stressful part is over. You can see that we've cut a chunk out of there and then sanded it flat to match with this mating surface right here. Well, it's not a mating surface actually, it's just a surface. So that's done. Now we're gonna go ahead and unwrap this thing very carefully to not get all that dust and crap in there and start test fitting our piece, our gears. Okay, we test fit our clearance. You can see our drop gear is in there, spinning nice and freely. We got about 1 millimeter of clearance against that sidewall, so it looks really good. We're happy with that. So now it's time to do the reinstallation. Our secondary drop gear sits in here until the pinion goes through there. And yeah, so we went out and bought all the right types of thread locker that were previously used on this and the different gasket sealants that go around each section as they join to the other sections. We're just gonna go ahead and start doing the opposite of what we did yesterday. All right, guys, so we ended last night and we were tightening these nuts down right here. We got them both tight and Oscar said like, wait, like, where's the small socket? Why didn't we use the small socket this time? And well, that's because there's a bolt on the gearing assembly that's kind of in the middle here, like down here, that we'll show you. It's a nut, not a bolt, that we didn't tighten. So we're gonna try and access it now from taking the diff off because we know we can see it. We're gonna see if we can get a wrench on it and be able to tighten it and then crinkle in the pin spot so it doesn't move back. Fingers crossed that we can do this, because if we can't, we have to disassemble the entire trans and gearing assembly, and everything that we just did has to completely come back off. So we're gonna jump into it now. High hopes. All right, good news. We're able to get in there. We can get a socket into that bolt nut right there. And so we're gonna turn it a little bit till it matches the previous torque spec, and then we'll dimple it in and we'll be good to go. Good news down there. Well, they're working on that. I got some news to share with you guys. So first I wanted to start with kind of the game plan of what we're doing with this car. So, you know, we're in the nitty gritty right now of trying to make sure that this thing is good and reliable and everything like that. So we're gonna build this car back up. We're gonna street drive it around here in the city, make sure it's reliable and make sure it's doing what it's doing. You know, we don't have any more weird little problems like this. Then it's off to the dyno. And then I gotta call Rob Dahm, which we'll probably do in a minute or two. But the game plan has been that we're gonna ship this car to California, and Rob Dahm is 4-rotor in this car. We're just gonna get out and do some driving, just have some fun and drive the two cars around, maybe like Willow Springs or something like that. From there, after we do some track driving, which will probably be towards the end of the month in December, I'm guessing. We'll call Rob in a minute. We're gonna ship this car to Florida, to Bradenton Raceway, which is like in Cletus's backyard. And we have a track day there. The track rental's already done, that's already scheduled out. I don't know what Cletus is gonna bring, but I'm definitely gonna put him behind the wheel of this car so we can see some of its potential, as well as myself as a learning and a progression day for drag racing. We're gonna take this thing and push it to its limits. That has to be done in Florida because the tracks are all closed in the Pacific Northwest because of the rain and the weather and everything like that. So that's kind of the game plan for this car, and honestly that's not like a ton of action. I mean, our drag strip isn't till February, so it's not a ton of action. It's time to move on to another build. So I have a car getting delivered in the next few days, and that might be the next episode that you guys see actually, is when we take delivery of the next car. And Let me tell you, this is gonna be a year of a lot of builds, like a lot of builds. So I hope you guys are down to see a lot of different stuff on the channel. Everything that we build is gonna have a purpose and everything is gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna probably get rid of some cars that we have, some old builds, but we're gonna have a lot of new ones coming through. Adam LZ's garage is full. It's my turn to buy like 12 cars in 1 year. We're gonna be spanning the range next year from supercar to totally not supercar, budget, and in the middle, good bang for your buck. A lot of in the middle, really good bang for your buck platforms we'll definitely have on the channel. So that's kind of like the overarching game plan. We've got two things that are in the mix right now that are just gonna be absolutely phenomenal builds. Whoa, I'm breaking stuff that I'm really excited about. Another thing that I'm really excited about is we're starting back up our second channel. So if you guys are maybe new here, we had a second channel called Built Not Bought. I'll put a link in the description where we took other people, it was a place for other people to kind of show off their builds. It was a platform for other people to show the world like what they had built. You know, so say you made an awesome build and you documented it really well with pictures or video or whatever, but you didn't have a really popular YouTube channel. It's hard to get it in front of a lot of people. So we gave them the opportunity to just say, hey, if you want us to air that video for you, we will. And we had a lot of people, and we were able to share a lot of people's really great builds. And you can see there's plenty of videos on there that have cracked like 100,000 views or above. So it worked, but YouTube got really picky about it and said we were like stealing people's content when we absolutely weren't. They actually were sending it to us. So I've talked with YouTube now about that and we're back in good grounds there, so we don't have to worry about that. So that's back up and running. So if anybody has a well-documented build and wants to share it with the world, you know, you can reach out to me on there and we will definitely build a cool video for you to be able to show that off. But also we're gonna open that up to as kind of a BS for Build secondary channel. Like Cletus McFarland has a really great secondary channel where he just does quick behind the scenes videos. They're a little bit rougher than the normal ones you'd see, but it's for you guys that are like diehard fans, really want to know what's going on. So as I travel, I could show off different things that we're talking about, that we're doing when we're traveling, as we're doing research, as we're doing planning, all sorts of good stuff. So it's basically like BS for Build behind the scenes is also going to go on to Build Not Bought. And then we have a lot of traveling going on this year. So anytime that I'm traveling and I'm at other people's shops and somebody has a project that is very much in the spirit of Built Not Bought, we're going to be showing those off as well. So secondary channel, back to life. Oscar's almost done with that, so we're about to jump into the next step. Other than that stuff that I told you, so next video probably gonna be a new build. This is totally off topic, but if any of you guys are Disney fans or traveling Disney World, Disneyland, any of those places, I started a Instagram account called Disneyland TNT Tips and Tricks that Chelsea and I are going to use to share our tips and tricks traveling the world, going to the different Disneylands and how we get about and have a good time and stuff like that. So if you're interested, you can follow us there. That'd be cool. I don't know how much crossover we're gonna have, but it's something that doesn't take us a lot of time and we could share our experience with people. And that's it. The diff is back on. That nut is tightened and dimpled down. So now it's time for us to set our reverse gearing modulator shafty shaft thing there. And we're gonna throw on that back cover and wrap up this drop gear situation. All right, that is a wrap. We have installed our drop gears. Let me give you some stats on these. So straight from the HCF website, our sponsor for these drop gears, with the drop gears that we just installed, it's like a 0.90 drop gear, and that replaces the OEM, which is a 1.32. So you can kind of judge the percentage that we've changed this. So this car is now going to have a 255 mile an hour top speed versus it would have had a 170 mile an hour top speed. And we should be, and at highway speeds like 70 miles an hour, we should now be cruising at about 2,000 RPM instead of before we would have been at 3,500 RPM. And in a car that doesn't rev super high, that's really, really important. So this is really good, and especially since we're building this for drag racing, you want to be running through as few gears as possible. And now knowing like how easy it is to change the drop gears, if we start racing and we decide, hey, we need a different size gear, like we're just going to take this thing back apart and put in a different gear for it, and we'll be in a better spot for our quarter mile. So I really want to thank HCF Autosport. I'm going to put a link in the description. I know, there's probably not a lot of you guys out there running these Graziano transmissions, but if anybody is, it's a really, really good power platform. I mean, this is a transaxle that can hold 1,000 horsepower. They make awesome clutches for it. We've used their clutch that they sponsored us with earlier, and it worked phenomenally. I mean, they thought it was going to be really hard to drive, and it's actually very, very easy to drive, and it can hold up to all the power that this engine is going to put out. So that should be a sign to the quality products that they make. And so if anybody has a Graziano transmission and you're looking for drop gears, they also do all sorts of other great stuff for specialty transmissions, transaxles, and all sorts of great work like that. So if you're an SLC car owner or you're in the same type of position I am, guys, hit that link in the description. They're a really, really good resource, and thanks to them for sponsoring those drop gears for us. All right, now that that's done, let's give Rob Dom a call and see when we can actually use this beast.
Hey.
Hey, Rob, how's it going, man?
Oh, amazing. How are you?
Doing good. Hey, I'm recording some stuff for the channel. So I just wanted to chat with you and see, like, you know, how's the four-rotor coming along, and when do you think we might be able to do some spirited driving out there in your neck of the woods?
That's a good question. I just got the all-wheel drive system all figured out, so I can actually put power to all 4 tires now.
Nice.
And I'm waiting on a couple pieces for fabrication, and then I can start doing like low boost, you know, pulls and high RPM. So, you know, so some spirited driving definitely. Realistically, after the New Year, you know, like after all the insanity.
And then I fly to Japan on January 8th. And I'm flying into LA on the 6th, but I could have my car down there before that, and I could actually come down a little bit before that. If things keep going in a positive direction and you're feeling good, we should definitely try and get like Willow Springs Day or something in, like, maybe that first, like at the end, like maybe January 5th or 6th ish.
Okay, that's doable. That's, you know, that's possible. I'm past all the major hurdles for what would prevent that from occurring.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that sounds great, man. Good luck with the build, and let me know when you're planning on flying out for Christmas.
Okay, will do.
All right, later, man.
Okay, see you guys.
Yay! All right, so you guys heard it. Rob's car is really close, which is great. So we're hoping for a really early July to be able to rip these things. So Oscar's going to continue working on this, the reassembly, the center console. We've like kind of mapped out exactly what we want to do. I've picked the seats. We're going to go with some Kirky seats, so I'll order those in. And we've got a path to getting this thing back on the road pretty quickly. So I've said this like in so many episodes, I want to get this car on the road to show you guys it driving around, but you know, we got to do everything right. So I apologize that this is probably not the most exciting thing in the world, but it is good knowledge, you know. So that is a wrap on this one. Hopefully, as long as the next car gets delivered soon enough, the next thing that you'll see is our new build. It's kind of a quick one, but I think you guys will enjoy it. We're gambling a lot, so I'll give you a hint, it's a flood car. So we're finally gonna jump into the world of a flood car, you know, what we look at when we buy them and how to deal with it once we get it and all that good stuff. So it'll be really fun. I'm excited. And it's a car, it's a brand that we've never had on the channel before. And it's a car that we've obviously never had on the channel before. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining us. See you soon. Peace! Come on.